Refreshing. Come on in, family. We're about to have a real deep build. This is a touchy topic. I'll be shouting you out as you guys come in, so make sure you comment. Show some love as you come in, and I'll give you guys a shout out. You know how that works. Shay, what's up with it? Cheryl Wagner was the first in the room. She's been waiting a while. I'm extremely late. Experiencing some technical difficulties. My mouse didn't work. I'm horrible with computers. We're going to have to function without it. But shout out to Cheryl Wagner for making it early and speaking, of course. So peace to you, Cheryl Wagner. If you ever come back to this live and see it, shout out to you. Joanne, welcome in. Peace to you. Again, I hope you brought your thinking caps. I heard this this conversation, just this rise, right? And when I heard it, I said, man, I got to build on this, because the brother was saying some things that I've been speaking on the last couple of months. Ray says, a blessings to you, brother. Indeed, Ray, blessings to you, King. Vanity Talk says, good morning, Kevin. I was curious about this topic as well. So showing support. Okay, good. Thank you for showing your support. Gold Digger says, hello, Kevin. Peace to you. DD Brockington says, hello, Kevin. Peace to you. Joy in Sinkers, I believe. Good morning, Mr. Wesley. Rise to you. Payment of Beef says, hey, Kevin in chat. Peace to you, Amber. This is sudden. I don't expect a huge turnout, but if you guys can share this and let people know we're doing this live, that would be great. I'm hoping that I can even have the man 2K to stop by. Let's see here. Anyway, guys, I'm going to start this up and let you guys hear the conversation that I caught, and then we're going to elaborate more on this conversation. I'll let it play some. I'll pause it some, but ultimately we'll get through it, and then we're going to have this build. Okay. So let's just get into it, because I think this is really good. Shout out to all you guys coming in. Patricia, peace to you. Brazy, peace to you. Let me go ahead and find this without my mouse now, because it's going to take me a little bit longer. Hang on. So back to what I was saying. I caught this clip of this video where 2K had called into this show. He kind of needed help landing his plane, kind of bringing his thoughts together. Sometimes that happens. You have a good mind. You have a good clue about what you're trying to say. And sometimes just, dialogue with somebody else can help you to kind of clear up your thoughts here. And I see where he was going, but let's get to it, okay? We're going to get into it. Peace to you, Chris. What's up with you? Sister Teacher, peace to you. Peace to you. Welcome in. All right, guys, brace yourselves for this conversation, all right? Terry Dow, what's up with you, bro? Peace to you, bro. You show a lot of love. I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you for asking. All right, guys, I'm going to hit play, get into it, and I'll be catching back up with you guys here in a minute. Again, make sure you listen to what these guys are saying, okay? Cancer 66 says, hey, Kevin, and hey, Chad. Peace to you, Cancer 66. Let's get into it, guys.
Man, you here to debate, or you want to speak about it? All right, brother. What you want to speak about today, man? You here to debate, or you want to speak about a topic?
No, I just want to holler at you, whatever. I know how it is, to get the content. So when you get some people up here, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to politic with you more than debate.
For sure, man.
I got this theory, and I like what you do, bro. Like I always say you almost like the one dude who the girls can't get mad at because you got that mushy voice. So,
man, they still be getting mad though.
Yeah, so it don't come off as harsh as somebody gonna say it like me, because I'm a straight shooter, whatever. So it is what it is. But my thing is, I want to know if you can help me bring this point home. I came up with this theory that that black women are the new white men. And
I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
okay, and so what I mean by that is, I feel like let's take it back to slavery just a little bit. So, as human to human, we all knew that slavery was wrong. But as a white man, I got to enslave black people because that what was appropriate at the time. I knew that it was wrong, but I still knew that I could do it because people ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Who gonna stop you? You outcompeted. You won a competition.
And I feel like black women are the same way. Like right now, they have the leverage, and I feel like they kind of abuse black men. Like, for example, child support. You know it ain't right how they abuse the system, but they do it because they can get away with it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that, well, okay, so you're saying that black women have leverage because they can use certain systems to get away with things. That's what you were saying.
I know that is wrong in morality, but
yeah,
they do it because the law of the land say that they can.
Okay.
So to me, do that make black women the new white men? Because they take on these roles in several different parts of black men's life. I feel like that's the leading cause of death for a black man. It's probably a black woman. No, I'm serious. And
now, you guys hear that, right? We're gonna go back just a bit right here real quick so we can land this plane again.
In several different parts of black men's life. I feel like that's the leading cause of death for a black man. It's probably the law of the land say that they can.
Okay.
So to me, do that make
because they can use certain.
I feel like black women are the same. Still knew that I could do it because we
right
all
here,
knew that.
Pay attention to this part right here.
Slavery was wrong. But as a white man, I got to enslave black people because that what was appropriate at the time. I knew that it was wrong, but I still knew that I could do it because people ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Who gonna stop you? You outcompeted. You won a competition.
Now, he said, okay, now peace to you, sister teacher again. Pay me the beef. I see you in here comments. I like the communication, guys. Lacey says, rise family. Let's see, Duke of, I'm sorry, welcome in Queen Lacey as well. And then Duke of OKC, providing for your child is abusing the system. Interesting you say that. All right, so the first thing he says is, you know something is wrong, but you do it anyway, right? Talking about when it came to enslaving another people, right? So he's saying the white man, but let's just say the slave master would enslave the slave, right? The black man, so to speak, if we're talking about just you know what I'm trying to say, guys. Transatlantic slavery, right? You know it's wrong, but you do it anyway. So what he's looking at is the system as a whole. When it's being weaponized, when it's being taken advantage of. He's saying that women in today's world know it's wrong, but they do it anyway. Okay, and that's the example that he's making. And then he moves on to giving his example of what he's talking about. Here's his example, guys.
And I feel like black women are the same way. Like right now, they have the leverage, and I feel like they kind of abuse black men. Like, for example, child support. You know it ain't right how they abuse the system, but they do it because they can get away with it.
Okay, you know it's not right how they abuse the system, but they do it so they can get away with it. So one brother said, let's see here, what's his name? Duke of OKC says, providing for your child is abusing the system. Let me explain this to you, okay? I don't know if you ever heard this, but child support in many ways is looked at as a weapon against the progression of black men. You could say men in general, but if we're talking about black men is what he's talking about, we're going to keep it specifically to black men, okay? While it may seem a useful tool for providing for a child, on the flip side of that, it's a weapon to slow down his progression, okay? So child support has been often framed as a weapon against Black men, or men particularly, okay, in discussions around family dynamics and system imbalances. The idea is that child support, while intended to ensure that children are financially cared for, it can be manipulated or misused in ways that go beyond its original purpose. Now, here's how this argument can be commonly framed, okay? Some men feel that child support is used by women as a tool of financial leverage rather than solely for the welfare of the child. In this scenario, the woman might strategically pursue child support as a way to extract financial resources from the man, sometimes without ensuring that the money is actually spent on the child's needs, or that this is a requirement because the child may actually already be taken care of by the father. When he's willing to, okay, to take care of the child, and then she does this, it's seen as a weapon. Okay, so it's particularly sensitive for Black men who may already face economic disadvantages, already struggling to get ahead. Now they have child support they have to keep up with, right? They often feel like the man is in their pocket, that their back is against the wall, and they'll often be very upset with the person who did this to them, right? They believe that you should be able to work it out with them between adult to adult, however the case may be. Nevertheless, the power is completely taken out of his hands and hers, really, when she uses the system against him. All the money doesn't even go to her at this point. I think only half of it does, if I'm not mistaken. But again, for men who face economic disadvantages or systematic hurdles, child support just becomes another burden that taps into their limited resources. Hammy the Beef says this is a good topic. Thank you. And I want to kind of, I think that because we don't truly understand the gist of what 2K is saying here, that the actual thought is profound, but most people won't be able to grasp it because, frankly, they can't begin to. They don't have enough understanding of the other things he's talking about. And that's why I want to talk about this, okay? So let's talk about using child support to exploit the system, okay? Critics of how child support is handled argue that the system is biased against men, with the courts often awarding custody to the mothers and imposing significant financial responsibilities on the fathers without necessarily considering the father's involvement or the actual needs of the child, okay? This can lead to situations where men feel financially exploited. You've heard the large amounts of child support that men have to pay based on how much they make. It makes them feel exploited, trapped. Do you understand? And you've heard many men say this. They have a real bad taste in their mouth when it comes to child support. All right. This can lead to situations where men feel financially exploited, as they might be required to pay large sums regardless of their ability to afford it, especially if they can't afford it, guys. But if they can't afford it, you'll see them have a fit about it, just like Tyrese did. All the money that you're having to pay out just doesn't seem to make sense. Children do not need that much money to survive. You know, there should be a cap on it, is what most people would say, right? Make it fair. But paying large sums of money is a part of it. And when you cannot afford it, to provide the actual level of care, and even the mother can't provide that level of care, it begins to feel very unfair. So Black men who may already be dealing with income inequality or employment struggles can feel this impact even more acutely or even more severely, right? But I didn't know 2K said this. It's a very interesting point. He's going to go into explaining his point even more, but I just want to break down every little nuance so we can get to the bottom of it, okay? So we see this affects mostly men who cannot afford it. And I had a homeboy one time, man. I saw him at Walmart. He had 2 children, and he was in Walmart looking pissed. And this ain't typically like my homeboy. I had never seen him like this. So I asked him what's going on. I'm actually on my way to work. I don't know what he's doing at Walmart that early, but he looks very upset. I think he might have been just getting off work. I think he might have worked third or something like that. But he in there looking mad. I asked him what's going on, and he said, "My girl got me for child support, bro. I'm only gonna get like $70 out of every one of my checks." And at the time, I mean, he's only making about $600-700 a week. And so they're taking damn near his whole check. And he was like, "Man, I'm telling you, because she did this to me, I ain't doing nothing else for them kids." He was buying them stuff every time he got paid, just going over and beyond for his children, right? Obviously, birthdays was taken care of. Children about 3 or 4, like 4 years old and 3 years old. But he said he's not doing any of those things anymore. And I said, "Stop it, bro. You know you're going to still take care of your kids." And that man said, "Fuck them kids. Like literally screamed it out, like F them kids, man. I can see it in his eyes. He didn't mean it. His heart's broken. He can't figure out how he's gonna manage his life because he's talking about his place. I ain't gonna be able to afford that. I'm getting all the overtime they'll give me, and now I don't even know what I'm gonna do. He was so mad at this lady for taking out child support, and he was taking it out on the children. Now I didn't know what weaponizing child support or weaponizing children were, but I was witnessing them right there. In most cases, when men are backed against a wall like this, they would choose to back away from their own child. This is parental alienation on a man's part when he chooses to not be in his child's life because the mother is too hard to deal with the mother, child support, anything like that. That is him doing the same thing as the mother when she neglects her child. If the child didn't do those things to you. And as a man, you should try and push past all of that and still have the relationship with your child. Okay, if your child is willing to have a relationship with you, you should always do that. But in a lot of ways, men will back off and say, I ain't doing nothing else for you. I ain't buying nothing else. Don't call me for Christmas, school, because you're getting this money from me, right? They'll begin to weaponize their child. It becomes lack of affection. That kind of becomes their punishment. Inadvertently, I don't think they know they're doing it. Just like I don't believe women know that they are alienating their child parentally whenever they keep the man from the child and things like that. You understand? But another way child support is weaponized. Okay, now because we got to get into this. Another way child support is weaponized is it's weaponized through the accusations of reproductive deception. A woman says that he's the father of my child, and he absolutely is not. They do not do all that they can to make sure that this man is irrefutable to father before hitting him with child support. And often when it's done, and if the man believes it's his, and he signs those papers or whatever the case may be, if it's determined that he is not the father, they normally put this man through the ringer to get excused from whatever child supports or anything like that he had on him, which is wild because if a woman signs a prenup, right, we make sure that lawyers there to make sure she is in her right mind. You can always relook at it to see if it sounds fair and right and adjust things. But when it comes to a child being born, that is mother's baby, father's maybe, there's no way he knows for sure. So if he does sign on the birth certificate, it's either because he trusts her or he trusts her. It's the only reason, family. If he thinks it's up in the air, I don't think this man is signing on his birth certificate saying, I am the father. So if he signs it for whatever reason, okay, if it's determined biologically that he's not the father, it should not be a problem getting that overturned. It shouldn't be, unless he chose to adopt a child that's not his. Then you got to hold him obligated to his parental obligations, right? Let me read this real quickly, okay? Lacey says, also, most mothers don't know that they only get a portion of what's taken from the father. That's what I was saying a second ago, Lacey. The consequences are more due to the state of not turning a profit above the mother. You're absolutely correct. They do not get most of those resources. All right. So, and then again, a lot of men say that they're not even spending the money on the child when they get it. So they start to feel used, right? Definitely an unfair situation, paying all that and still can't see their children with minimal consequences. Absolutely. I believe DNA tests should be done at birth to avoid this. I do. And I believe men should request DNA tests no matter what. Doesn't matter if you trust her or not. It should just become a grown-up, responsible thing that you do. But anyway, guys, let's get back to this. The accusation of reproductive deception is a heavy, heavy, heavy thing for men. We cannot stand raising children that are not ours. That is something that really bothers us. It's a really big fear for us. Rise to you, Lavaria. Welcome in. Again, guys, it's a very, very big fear for men, and it happens more than we care to admit. Almost 4 out of 5 tests come back negative. DNA tests, paternity tests come back negative, which is wild. That's over 40%, guys. But anyway, where women may poke holes in condoms, they lie about being on birth control, they deliberately get pregnant without the man's consent or knowledge. In these cases, child support feels like it's a tool because the man may be saying, I'm not ready for a child yet. She's going to go ahead and have the child even without his consent. And he feels trapped in these cases, right? Welcome in upper echelon. Upper, I love your thoughts on this, man. I swear to God, I would. Usually a DNA test is conducted before child support is ordered in most states, which is good. And that's a good thing as well. But again, we'd like for all that to be uniform because there is leverage created in states that do not require this. That's great that they started requiring that, though. Many things are changing and leveling out for the good, okay? But let's be real, for a long time, it's been very scary for men out here when it comes to the system and children and how they do that, okay? Okay, in cases, child support becomes a tool to ensure financial support from a man who did not willingly agree to fatherhood. This man is saying, I do not, and now listen, this is a whole other argument, but if a woman doesn't want a baby, a man can't, let's just say Roe v. Wade is completely overturned. No more terminations of pregnancies, okay? This could mean men could now jeopardize women's futures, control women's futures by getting them pregnant because they can't terminate the birth, right? The pregnancy. So just imagine this. He thinks she's very pretty. He knocks her up. Men do that. I have a baby by her. They really like her. Knock her up. Say you're not going to shoot up the club. They say they're not going to, go all the way, if you know what I mean. They do, right? They say they're wearing a condom. They pull it off. She's going to go to college. I have a video I'm going to show you guys in a minute. She's going to go to college. He wants to slow her future down. He knocks her up. You see what I'm saying? And in these cases, what if she could not go terminate that pregnancy? You would see now how men could use getting her pregnant to control her future, right? But because of Roe v. versus Wade, women can't be forced into childbirth, into parenthood, but men still can. You understand? So men feel this way as well. They feel that like their life control, whenever she says, I'm going to have this baby anyway. When she says that, well, he wore a condom, but she poked a hole in it. When she said she was on birth control, so he didn't wear a condom. Then it comes back to, well, you knew better. You should have never did it without a condom, and it's always comes back to his fault. And he's the one who has to pay the consequences for it, right? And the courts that back her up to hold him accountable, where, we can't hold her accountable if she says, I don't want the child, right? Or I want the child anyway, even though you don't, and you'll still have to be held liable. It feels very unfair to men. So that's why men look at it like, yo, this is a woman. This is a weapon being used against me. Shout out to Joff. He said that's a good topic. Dope. So anyway, guys, this further fuels the narrative of men becoming or feeling trapped in a financial obligation without consent, often discussed in the context of Black men who may not have full control over the dynamics of these relationships. You often feel like you're on the outside looking into these relationships, like her being the mother somehow trumps you being a father, and it's not really your child. You forced to dance by the beat of her own drum, as it means to having a relationship with your own damn child. This is especially when y'all not together, yo. In many ways, guys, this is going to circle back to tukay has a real serious point on, are Black women the new white men? Okay. I'm going to finish going over these child support things so you guys can understand totally what he's saying, how child support can be used. Weaponizing custody. Too many men know about this. You want your child. She says something where you can't see your child. She comes up with reasons in her head why you're not good enough to be a father anymore. She becomes a judge, jury, and executioner on if you can see your child based on her description of you. Wow. Right? She has to approve of you now. Now, she's already chosen you to be a father. You're the father, says her. Right? But now she wants to say, well, you're not good enough to be the father because you do this, you do that, whatever the case may be, but you're already the father, right? You're a narcissist. Don't I still deserve to see my child? Don't my child still deserve to see their dad? I don't care if you think I'm a narcissist. What if I am? So what? I still deserve a relationship with my child, yo. Right? So anyway, in cases where a relationship ends poorly, some women are accused of using child support and custody battles as a form of punishment or control over the father. For example, even if the father is actively trying to be present for his child, the woman might make it difficult for him to see his child or children while simultaneously enforcing child support payments. This creates a sense of helplessness for men. Okay. they feel that they are reduced to just financial contributors, but are denied the emotional and physical role of being a father. Do you understand? This is a real thing, family. Sister Teacher says sometimes it's best to be on child support because a man can give good money for his kids for years, and the woman decides to take him to court after all his giving. The courts who will say those were gifts. Sister Teacher, this is true, and that only points to the fact that women can weaponize this system. You know, the fact that they know they can do that, and the fact that's a real fear for men, so they'll just go ahead and get on child support, only proves tukay's theory here, that women are weaponizing the system, and in doing so, they became the new white man to modern day black men. Do you understand? It's no longer the white man stripping us of our children. It's no longer the white man who confuses our legacy to where we don't know where our children are. The white man used to take them and go, and I hate to keep saying white man because we're talking about the colonizer, right? But the master, the slave master, would take your children from you, okay? Give them to whoever. You don't know where your children are. And the fact that child support, I mean, that DNA test, paternity test, are 40% not likely to be your child, even when she tells you it is. This is a good example of that. That's not your baby. You have no clue who all your children belong to. I mean, that your children belong to you or not, because you haven't taken this test. Don't nobody take us down no more than our own counterparts. That's 100% fact. And Jaffe, hold that thought, because you ahead of me, right? I'm definitely getting there, because right now we're just looking at it as a standpoint of women to men, okay? But the fact is, Jaffe, you're going to see in the end, you're absolutely right. We are our own counterparts, so don't nobody hold us down like ourselves. And when he say hold us down or take us down, he ain't talking in no good terms, okay? We destroy each other, family. All right. So for black men, guys, now, and I'm saying this because we're framing this on the racial and systematic in the racist and systematic dimension. Okay, so we're gonna stay here where we're just talking about black people, not just men. Okay, historically, black men have faced structural inequalities in education, employment, and the justice system. All right, this is the impact this stuff has on men. Okay, the child support system, when manipulated, unfairly applied, it can feel like another form of systematic control that disproportionately targets them. It reinforces the feeling that we are being financially drained without consideration for our struggles or roles as a father, which perpetuates the cycle of financial hardship and emotional disconnection. So through doing this, family, it's destroying more and more homes, destroying more and more relationships, because in a lot of cases, fathers are likely to get upset and fall back. And it makes it more difficult for them to even see their child if that's not their goal. He gets hit with child support. Now he has to work 2 jobs. Now he doesn't have as much time to spend with his child. Now she's complaining that he's not coming and spending time with the child, but he has to work 2 jobs so he can have a place to stay. Because just on his one income, the one job that he had before getting hit with child support, it's no longer enough to cover his daily needs, his lifestyle, keep a roof over his head, and take care of the child. So he goes and gets a second job. So now he's further pushed back away from his child. And he's also blamed for that. He becomes a deadbeat when it's all said and done. Sister Teacher says, yes, it is horrible, and I understand the point he was trying to get across. Indeed. I'd rather have a good man that would take care of his child. This is Kimberly Pinson, says, I'd rather have a good man who would take care of a child than now my son at 30 years. 30 years old is deceased. And now I'm getting all my child support over 2K, and the child is now gone. Sad. That is very, very sad. I'm so sorry about that. Gold Digger says he can't survive afterwards. Now, what Kimberly is speaking about is her child who's no longer here, who didn't have that relationship, I'm imagining, with her father. Is she said now it's like this money coming in, but the child's too old to even necessarily need it at that point. He didn't have a relationship with his child. She said, I'd just rather have a good man than any of them, than having to use these systems. And that's what I say. It all comes back to choosing, and he's going to get to that, but choosing has no relevance at all on whether or not 2K's theory is correct. Do you understand? The argument that the child support is used as a weapon is contentious because it assumes ill intent on the part of the woman or the system as a bias that this disproportionately hurts men. So people don't like this idea because they think that you're saying that women are, every time they use child support, it's to get over it. It's to, to sink their claws into you, so to speak. And that's not necessarily the case. And that's why I want to point out that 2K says when it's abused, right? When you abuse this system. But understand this, paying child support is not parallel to taking care of your child. So when the brother said, Duke of OKC, I think said, so taking care of your child is a weapon? No, using child support as a means to get more income from this man than this child even needs. I've seen people paying $40,000 a month child support, $200,000 a month child support, $15,000, $20,000 a month child support. You cannot convince me a child needs that much money to survive, y'all. That's crazy to me. You understand? And so what it creates is a world where women prey on men. They say, okay, he's a wealthy, ball play, dumb, just looking to get some, right? So they sleep with him, get pregnant with his baby, only to usurp his income. You understand? And it destroys his life. A lot of them end up with 4, 5, 10 kids out here on child support. And while they're making the money of their wildest dreams, they're paying out over $200,000, $100,000 a month just in child support alone. You understand what I'm saying? And you can say, man, make better choices, but we're not taking away from the fact that the reason that such large amount of women are dealing with him is because he has wealth that they would like to access, which proves what this man is saying. Do you understand? What do you think about Tyrese paying $20,000 a month in child support and his baby mother went back to court saying the money was not enough? Absolutely. I mentioned him just a second ago, right? You can't speak for everybody and woman. No, you cannot. I'm not trying to. But what we're talking about is in large part, are these systems being used and weaponized somewhat to the point to where the white woman has become the weight that's holding black men back as such as the slave master. You understand? Jaffe says that's why men deserve the right to financially abort. This is an absolute fact. If she has it, listen, it's not about right or wrong. If she has the right to terminate pregnancy, he should have the right to terminate financial support. If she says it's my autonomy that I don't want to have a child, it's his autonomy that he doesn't want to have a child or take care of one. So if she gets the right to say, I want this child regardless, he should be able to say, I don't like this because I speak for the children. I think everyone should man a woman up and take care of your child. I don't like this, but it's not about right and wrong. Okay, it's about being fair at this point. If she has the right to forsake her parental duties by terminating the pregnancy, he has the right to forsake his by saying, I do not want this child. I don't want to be a part of its life. As effed up as that is for the child to not have a father or to have a father to say that, it's even more effed up, in my opinion, for the mother to abort the child. I hate I even said the word because they'd be hating on you on here. But I'd rather, to me, if I'm a child, I'd rather have life and not a father than my mother terminate me before I'm born. You see what I'm saying? So to me, the lesser of two evils is not having a father in my life because at least I get life. How y'all feel about that? Would you rather have a father in your life or not live? You see what I'm saying? Would you guys rather at least have life and have it without a father? Or would you rather be terminated before you even get life? Which one, guys? I'm sure each and every one of you guys would say, yeah, I want life. And if my daddy ain't there, my daddy just ain't there. Kim says I was married to him before the child came. He was just not going to pay nothing. He was a union plumber. Okay, I got you. I don't understand what you mean. Black women is a white man. Please explain. So basically what I'm saying is what this brother right here was saying. He gave a theory, Charlene, that in weaponizing the system, and his first example was child support. Do we think that in some ways or in many ways, white women have become the new white men as opposed to being a obstacle for black men, holding them back, stripping them of their life and freedom, such as black enslavers did back in the day. Let's continue with the video so we can get more of what 2K is trying to say. I see a lot of you guys don't fully understand. Tammy says, I feel both should use protection before it gets to this God's gift. He will provide. Indeed. That's the adult thing to do, is both of you should be protecting yourselves. Lacey says, what's crazy, as soon as she finds out he has a second job, she's going to take him back to child support for child support adjustment. That happens as well. And that's when you say she's definitely taking advantage, right? A lot of fatherless children commit, unaliving themselves. Absolutely, is true. They find themselves drowning to where they feel like there is no means to an end, and some of them do unalive themselves. It's very sad. Gold Digger said it exactly. Angie, peace to you, love. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hopefully you can speak in on this topic here shortly. I'm going to allow you guys to be able to give your thoughts on it as well. And that'll be dope. Angie, I always like your thoughts. Joanne says Lacey is Kev on 2 platforms. I'm not seeing all the comments. Yeah, I am. I'm on Facebook and YouTube as well. Peace Teresa and Chuck and Stick says white women are the biggest benefactors of civil rights legislation. I don't disagree, but that's a whole nother topic. And this is why I would say, Clutch, that this is a topic that it should be saying, are women the new white man as it comes to men versus black? But because they posed it by asking about black women and black men, I'm going to continue to work with that. Okay. Okay. Angie's working. Okay. Thank you for tuning in though. Please stay tuned. And if you can just listen, that'll be dope. That man will never get ahead. That's why mean find off the that's why they find a job off the books to get income, but now they're at risk to go to jail. Absolutely right. And find yourself in jail over child support. You're sitting here pissed off because you're thinking, this ain't breaking a law. I didn't rob a place. I didn't commit a crime, but I'm sitting in a place where people who actually rob people, unalive people, steal from people, hurt people, I'm sitting in here with them because I didn't pay child support. And this is why a lot of people say, yo, this is an adult issue. This should not be handled in a court system. Don't put them in y'all's business. Y'all are adults. Okay? Get with a person and work with them to take care of your child. Why do you need the government to help in that? That's crazy to me. You understand? But again, I can understand what it would be like for a woman to not be able to take care of her child and to have a man who absolutely does not want to take care of his child. So I can't be 100% against child support because I can see it as a means to helping a child. I just don't agree that it should be weaponized, to the degree that it is, right? Off the books jobs are very hard to find nowadays. That's true. So I was saying the system protects women and kids more than men and children, more than men with child support. Absolutely. The system, yes, it does, as it should, Charlene. Men are utilitarians. We are stronger. Our bones are stronger. We have more energy. So if you're going to divvy out any type of help, it should be women and children first. But it should not be weaponized as a means to usurp this man's resources and his life from him. Do you understand? And this is what we're talking about. In weaponizing it, in abusing it, are they similar to the white man because of what all these systems can do to the black man, right? Man will never get ahead, and that's why they find out, okay, yeah, Lacey, that's your comment. I'll read it again. Okay, let's continue on, guys, with what 2K is saying here. Let's continue.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that, so you're saying that black women have leverage because they can use certain systems to get away with things. That's right. What you were saying.
I know that is wrong in morality, but they do it because the law of the land say that they can.
Okay.
So, to me, do that make black women the new white men? Because they take on these roles in several different parts of black men's life. I feel like that's the leading cause of death for a black man. It's probably a black woman. No, I'm serious. And I always say this, like, because my mama, that was my first toxic relationship with a woman.
Well, I could say this in regards to, black women and women in general, but since we're speaking about black women, they do commit a lot of the termination of unborn children. I'm not saying the A word because we can't use it on YouTube, but they are high in the numbers of terminating unborn children. So yeah, and for that, in that case, we would say that they're decreasing the black population and stuff like that because they.
So he agrees that in terminating pregnancies, if you look at back in the day, if Master didn't want you to have a baby, you didn't have a baby. Master could kick in that door and use your baby as alligator bait if he wanted to, right? And I mean literally, they would go fishing with your babies and catch alligators. They literally called us gator bait. They have those statues where they would, with us being eaten by alligators. and all of this stuff. So even down here in the country, in the South, you might hear a white person even call a black person that gator bait. So it's crazy. But anyway, they could come and take your children from you. You're never going to see them again. You understand? However they wanted to do it. Okay, your child didn't even have to reach life if they didn't want it to. And so, by way of terminating pregnancy, you still have all of these children that never make it to being born. So in that way, yes, you'd have to agree, right? Now it may be because she ain't ready for a child, or whatever the reason may be in there. It could be because the man said, "I don't want it. Go terminate it." It could be for whatever reason. But left to our own devices, we're still eliminating children, and that's the point. Chatty, what up with it? Welcome in. Welcome in, love. All right, guys. So listen. Yeah, that's dope. I like Chatty. Chatty's dope. Hopefully, Chatty, you can share your thoughts in here too. But yeah, I lost my frame of thought. I was saying that yeah, so if you understand this, generational curses, right? We have learned the behaviors of our enslavers. We've taken on their mentality in many ways. And in doing so, we carry out the plot that was once placed on us hundreds of years ago. Okay, so Jaffe said it. We take down our own. It was our counterparts that take down our own. Yeah, because we learn the moves of the master. We learn his thinking, and we begin to behave that way, right? So when we as a people realize that what community is defined as, we can then build ourselves once again. Indeed, but right now we're stripped of that knowledge, and in being lost, all we can do is portray what has been the example that's been set before us. And unfortunately, in our culture, in many ways, we have taken on the burden of the enslaver or white man when it comes to holding down our own race. We're doing it ourselves. They don't have to do it. Let's continue. Imagine a parent who insults the children, right? Calls this one nappy-headed, calls this one big lips, calls this one stinking breath, right? When that parent is not around, those children would denigrate each other with those same names. Do you understand? And that's what I mean. That's how we are. I mean, we call each other nigga, let's be real. And we mean it as a term of endearment, but regardless, this was a term that was once used to us by them. So we are definitely taking on their mentality. Let's continue.
We actually have that choice. It's only their choice. Men, we don't have any choice when it comes to that. So in that sense, I understand what you're saying. When we're speaking about black women having leverage than more leverage than black men, that's not true.
How so? Now we can get into that. How so?
Yeah. So just in general, women don't have more leverage than men collectively. So when we're speaking about men versus women, they don't have leverage because men, we are physically stronger. So that means that we wield the enforcement mechanism. So
now this is where I think, I don't think that Fugazi is completely understanding 2K here. All right, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna listen again at what he just said.
That's not true.
First, let me speak to this really quickly. Okay, so I think Tanika has already explained herself. Let's see what she says. She says, "I'm speaking about Kevin Wesley and any other female that was not forced to see the fragility of lack of guarantees of life as living, respectively." Okay, maybe your comment got a little bit misunderstood there. Okay, we straighten it out. Let's continue on, guys.
How so? Now we can get into that. How so?
Yeah. So just in general, women don't have more leverage than men collectively.
Now, so he's saying women do not have more leverage than men collectively. Now, 2K is talking about simply on the premise of the system and being able to leverage the system that favors women. Okay, let's continue.
So when we're speaking about men versus women, they don't have leverage because men, we are physically stronger. So that means that we wield the enforcement mechanism. So men, if we come together, right, we can put all the laws and regulations and rules and everything, and we can enforce all of these laws and regulations as well.
Okay, so much that I want to say about that statement. Okay, to try to make it clear, he's saying that men are stronger than women, so therefore we are the enforcers. Now, listen, guys, this just isn't true. Physically, men are stronger than women. However, in a system, the matrix that we live in, okay, hang on. Hang on one second, guys. No, Lacey, I don't believe Tanika was talking about you. I'm not sure, but I guess Tanika, if you could explain, I don't believe she was talking about you. She's been commenting for months and months. I've never seen her have a negative comment. I certainly hope that she wasn't referring to you on that. Let's see, planned abortions from child support. What you know about female infertility or otherwise birth control, especially as a pathology to experiment cultivation. I don't think she's talking about you, baby girl. As far as my business goes, exactly what the F I just did. What were you talking about, Tanika? Let me read your comment because I want to make sure. And if this is that, let's just dead it and move on. Let's see here. What did you say? Let's get back to it. I want to be able to have this bill without any hiccups, especially any personal. What's the name? Let's see here. Okay, your other spouse birthed a child that you cannot live forever to secure, and he already at a disadvantage. Not completely understanding what you're saying there. So I don't understand. Maybe you need to rewrite that comment so I can completely understand what you were saying. Let's see here. As far go back to the foundation. I don't know what's going on here. Let me know what's going on, guys. Lacey, I think I see what comment you're referring to. But we'll wait until she responds back. If that's the case, you guys, let's just chill out on that. Let's get back to the actual topic at hand, okay? Let me go back some so I can get my thought back.
So men, if we come together, right, we
okay, so I get it. He was saying that, okay, he's saying that men are stronger than women, so we are the enforcers, right? What 2K is saying is we live in a matrix where it's not based on might nor power, right? It's based on rules and laws, okay? And there's consequences for disobeying those rules and laws. So saying that men are stronger, so the enforcer kind of sounds like he's looking at it like we're in some world where there are no rules and laws and that physical dominance is the way we move about. That's just not true. There's many situations where if a man let's just be real, there are already laws set up to tell a man not to use his physical strength. You understand? So black men don't make laws, absolutely. And so it sounds like he's saying because we're stronger, meaning physically stronger, we are the enforcers of rules. But then he goes and says, if we join together, we could create new laws. But again, that's not strength. That's community. That's working together. That's unity, right? And you're working to create a law, which is not about physical strength. It's about agreements, right? Majority agreements. So he's saying we're strong, so we're the enforcers, but he's also using us being physically strong as a way to say we can get together and change these laws, right? Now, are we stronger than women? Yes. In a world where there weren't rules and laws, could women dominate men or leverage men? No, not unless they could seduce them. But in most cases, no, a woman is not going to dominate a man. No, she's not. In most cases, okay? Can all men join together and create better laws? Yes, they can. But what 2K is saying is right now, based on the system that we live in, or have women become like the white man by way of how they use the system and weaponize the system, right? And so if we're talking about right now, not hypothetically speaking, if men got together and changed laws, then I think the answer would have to be, yeah, 2K got a point in his theory, right? But let's continue.
We can put all the laws and regulations and rules and everything, and we can enforce all of these laws and regulations as well because we're stronger. We wield the enforcement mechanism. So with that, if I'm just looking at it logically and going to the root, and what you say, Black women have leverage, I wouldn't say that they have any leverage. I would say that they have leverage over weak men.
Well,
so
okay.
Weak men.
So
yeah,
let's expound upon that.
A lot of people have leverage over weak men. Don't matter what race you are.
Now, these are factuals, and I agree with you, but it's not determined to the strength or physicality level of the man, and let me tell you why. Because it's kind of like the slave that was an overseer. It's not that we were scared of the slave that was an overseer, is that he had the backing of master. And
he willed it. I get what you're saying. So, and that's what I mean. The slave that was the overseer wielded the enforcement mechanism. So he wielded the white man's power with guns and numbers. So then we're outnumbered and outgunned. I get what you're saying, but that is still the weak. The slave overseer is still a weak man, meaning that he was susceptible and influenced to go against his own people.
I don't know about it being weak, because logically speaking, because we're having a logical conversation, that's not saying that everybody on the plantation was weak. We know that not to be true. So this is what I mean by this. Because like, let's say I'm a strong man, right? But she got the backing of the court system. And the court system allows her to get the children, which puts me at a disadvantage, no matter what type of strength I was bringing to the formula in the first place. So that's leverage that we can't really do nothing about unless we gonna spare.
No leverage. You focus on the effects. That's when manipulation happens. You chose to sleep with that woman unprotected and have a baby by her. So the onus.
All right, my bad, guys. So what I was saying was, I believe that Fugazi is kind of missing the point here. Very intelligent guy, very articulate guy, but I believe that he's just missing the point. Typically, his conversations are debates on different concepts, different ways of thinking in the dating realm, right? Red pill, blue pill, these types of ideas, which he's very good at those. But I think that just on the spot like this with 2K presenting his theory, I don't think Fugazi completely understood where 2K was coming from, even though I think he feels he's grasping it. I don't think that he is. I think he'll look over this and actually see where 2K is coming from. You understand? But right here, when he says, yeah, he's usually pretty sharp. Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, right here, he says, talking about only weak men can be taken control over or leveraging. It's not about strength. It's not about might nor power. These slaves were definitely stronger than their enslavers. Okay, they were the ones in the field. They were the ones doing the lifting. They were the ones laboring. They were very, very strong. They had the ability to create. A lot of the tools you see today was made by the people that was in the field, not the masters. They'd have no way of making the tool. They wouldn't even know that it would be needed. So most of those things you get that make your slave master more powerful, but it's off the backs of you. That's to assume that the NFL players are not stronger than their coaches, right? Or their owners or their GMs. No, they're stronger. But there's a system set up, a planned out system that's set up for if you play by their system, you're on the bottom. And that's just the facts. Okay. So they didn't have strength over us, but they had knowledge that we didn't have. They had experience, they had deception. With that experience, they had deception, they had a plan. And we just weren't equipped to be able to handle that. So we ended up losing that. We ended up being subject to them. Okay. But if you put an enslaver up against a slave and they go at it, in most cases, the enslaver is the one who has to worry about his life. But using fear tactics and all these things, they would subjugate men, black men. Okay. So public humiliation via castration, hanging you, beating you, buck breaking, which is tying you to a post and raping you, stripping you of your manhood in front of everybody. All of these fearful things were done to I would say domesticate the black man. You understand? And in many ways, this is still done today. A woman can take the social media and do all those things I just named. She can pretty much verbally castrate him. Okay. Talk about his penis size. Call him outside of his sexuality. She can accuse him of doing something that's horrible in our community's eyes, abuse, rape, and destroy his chances of a future. There are many things that she can do to destroy this man's life just by saying he did something that he didn't do. And the next thing that Fugazi mentioned was it goes back to having a choice and who you choose. It does. You have to choose the right person. But I'm going to tell you guys something. It ain't really even about choosing. I tell different children in college, young boys, it ain't even about your choices. You don't even have to sleep with her. Sometimes being around the wrong woman can ruin your life. I've seen men go to prison, lose their scholarships because a woman said they slept with her. He raped her. He never even touched her. It wasn't that it was consensual and she felt bad later or embarrassed later and lied. No, he never even touched her. And she said, this man raped me, messed his scholarship and everything up. Do you understand? I once got a woman call me gay for not taking her number. And she didn't even present it like she wanted to holler at me. We took a picture together and she wanted to send the picture to my phone. I wanted me to send the picture from my phone to hers. And I couldn't get her number just yet. I was about to speak. I was the keynote speaker for this event. And they were about to call my name. I'm in the back room. And she says, hey, why don't you send me that picture that we took? I'll send it to you after the show because they're probably about to call my name. She says, okay. Later on at the after party, she tells people that I'm gay because she said she came at me hard, but basically threw it at me and I didn't take it, right? She never even came at me like that. But I think that she was embarrassed by me saying I'll get the number later. Maybe she thought I was turning her down. Maybe she thought that she was coming on strong, but she wasn't. But things like that, she could be just mad at you for some reason and she'll lie on you. And her words have weight. In most cases, it ain't many things a man can go out here and accuse a woman of that can destroy her life. You understand? I've seen men get accused of child molestation, pedophilia, rape, abuse, just so many different things. You understand? And so the word of mouth of a woman is very, very, very powerful. And so in a lot of cases, if she want to chop you down a couple notches or two, she really can. You understand? And again, that's her weaponizing the system. All right. So it's not about being stronger. It's simply not. Let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the thing. We all have choice. There's people that just make the wrong choices and they're going to feel the consequences of those wrong choices because we are in a system where, yeah, the courts favor the woman when it comes to child support, when it comes to alimony and all of these things, right? So the courts is going to favor the woman when it comes to divorce. That's what we're pretty much talking about. So yeah, so that's why we do this podcast here and we speak about women's nature and men's nature. So men don't make these foolish decisions. So they don't make the wrong choice. So they don't pick the chick that got.
See, I think even here when he says that's what we're basically talking about is divorce. No, we're not. Divorce wasn't mentioned. And I'm not going to do a long talk on that. I just want to let you guys know we're not talking about divorce. And this is one of the things that points out to me that Fugazi may not be completely understanding 2K, but let's continue.
Got 3 baby daddies, mad tattoos, and dancing on a stripper pole. Because, dog, she's going to wreck you in court.
All right, my boy, check this out. Let's take the court side of it. Let's
Okay.
take, the woman who also has leverage in the situation, police. And guess who shows up? Men. Manipulates the cops, say, hey, he hit me. My choice don't even matter at that point if I touched her or I didn't. She manipulated that, and that's leverage. Femininity is leverage.
And he's right. So let's just go back to the root word of leverage, okay? Lever. You guys remember in physics class, right? In physics, a lever is something that you use to lift an object that would be too heavy to lift on your own, right? So if you take a rock, the basic lever, you take a rock, you put a board on that lever, and you stick one end of that lever under the heavy object, right? And then the rock is up under the lever as well. When you apply force to the other side of the lever, it gives you more strength than you actually have. Hence the term leverage. So when a woman calls the police and says, he hit me, and he said, men come out there, she's able to manipulate these men. Here's why we're calling that leverage, okay? She isn't actually strong enough to convince those men. It's not about strength to convince those men that he hit her. It's about using her femininity, her crying, her softness, her being vulnerable, her playing a victim, and being very convincing. So even without any bruise or anything, she's able to convince this officer that he really hit her. Now, he's stronger. The man is stronger than her. So of course the officer is going to say, yeah, you got to go to jail. We're taking you downtown, buddy. Right? Because of the sheer danger that you've now subjected this woman to. And your strength is actually used against you. So you being stronger in that scenario, in many of these scenarios, works against us. So they're actually able to leverage our own strength against us. Do you understand? The man becomes the heavy object. How does she get him in jail? She can't do it on her own. She can't arrest him and take him on her own. So the police becomes the board, right? The board. The rock is the woman's femininity, the fact that she is weaker than this man, that she is soft, okay? So now she's going to use her femininity and play victim with that, and she's going to leverage the officer, okay, that's going to help move that man to where she wants that man to go, that she could not do that on her own. This is why the term is called leverage. It's not about strength. So to say, well, you can't leverage something on a person who's stronger than you, you would need to leverage something on someone who you can't move on your own. You would need leverage for that. Do you understand? Let's continue, guys.
Yeah, we all
check the comments real quick. Let me check the comments. Let me give you guys some shout outs real quick. Angie says, I'm sorry. Eureka says, yeah, I agree. You stuck 2K TV. Yes, it's like using white supremacy for real. Absolutely no shade at all. I'm just saying, absolutely. Peace to you, Creekimi. Remember thin line between love and hate? Absolutely. She lied like a mug, right? And she was the crazy one. And they stopped it right there with Joffrey saying, yes, he's pretty sharp. Okay. And Lacey says, please like and share, family. Come on now. Let's show some love now. All right, we get down to the end of this. Let's continue.
Love a feminine woman. We'll die for him, go to war for him. But she can also weaponize that.
For sure. Anything can be weaponized, my dear friend. What I'm trying to get you to understand, I understand what you're saying. And you're looking at it from the reactionary standpoint, right? You want to be proactive. So I encourage men and women to be proactive so you don't have to go through the things that most people went through. So you don't have to go through all of those consequences. So yeah, that makes sense. If you choose a chick that's going to call the cops on you and lie to you about they making up a story and all of this stuff, which many men been through, right? It's like
the fact that he's saying this, guys, proves that women can leverage this system against us. The fact that he's saying, be careful who you choose. If you choose a woman that would do all that to you, you chose wrong. The fact that he has to say that is proof that 2K is really onto something here. if a man has to be so careful as to the woman he chooses because she could destroy his character, his well-being, his life via his future chances of getting employment, his future chances of continuing even his own career, if she can take his freedom by lying on him, if she can take his freedom by tricking a baby on him or having a baby on him without his consent, and you have to be careful what woman you choose because she may do this to you, you're admitting that this exists. So let's just say a woman called in the show, right? And she says, do you think that in many ways men today have become the new white man when it comes to how they treat black women? Now just imagine this, family. A woman calls in and says, the way black men in our modern society treat black women, could you say that they've become the new white man? Let's say she made an excellent point, right? Let's say she said they'll have babies with them and will not be invested in that family. They'll expect that woman to take care of the child, literally take care of it and raise it while they only provide resources. Well, that's something Massa would do, right? That's something Massa would do. He has no intention of marrying this woman. He just thinks she got a fat booty. He just thinks that she looked good. And on one night, he come over there and sleep with her, give her a baby. And yeah, he might provide a little roof over her head, give her this little back room hole in the wall to raise that baby, but he's never really there. So the child only knows its mother and doesn't know the father at all. We see this often in our culture. No, men are not forcing women to have sex with them. Women are not forcing men to give them babies. They're being deceptive about it. And so in our deception, are we treating black women the same way the white enslaver would treat black women? And I would have to say, yeah, because we've learned the ways of our masters. So on both sides, we have become the white man to each other. This is the fact I want to get to, which is what highlights what Jaffe was saying when he said that it's our own counterparts that take us down. Absolutely. Men have become the white enslaver to other black men. Women have become the white enslaver to black men. Men have become the white enslaver to black women. I can't necessarily say that women have become this to women. And maybe if I look more into that topic, it's probably true. Okay, because y'all lie on each other. Y'all will steal each other, man. Y'all will go to the end of the earth to destroy each other too. So yeah, I would have to say, yeah, we all do this. We've all taken on the mentality of our slave masters. What's another way that men treat women like the white man treated the slave? I pointed out that they will give them children without being there. They will vet them as if they are looking for a physical specimen. You can see images where the slave master is holding a ruler up or a stick up, measuring the black man's height, measuring the woman's body parts, and things of that nature. I'm sure you guys remember the woman who there was a whole zoo made for her, for people to come and look at her body because she had a large butt, right? So again, men will say, look at her body parts, and it's based on aesthetics if he believes she can be a good woman, or it's based on how good she can have sex, which reduces her all down because he's not looking at her character or any real mothership qualities, right? Motherhood qualities. And I always say a fat ass and good pussy don't raise children. Good head don't raise children either. And so what you got to realize is you got to pick a good woman, right? And I tell women the same thing. A man who could put it down don't raise children. You need a good man, and you shouldn't be looking for how tall is he, how much money he got. That's all we do is reduce each other based on what we look like or what we can get from each other. And I'm telling you, back in the tribal days, it was based on a person's production. A man was not going to get with a lazy woman, and a woman was not going to get with a lazy man because your child was dependent on two healthy parents to take care of them. It wasn't about how fat is your booty. If you look at a lot of these different cultures, their beauty standards are nothing like the American beauty standard. It's not about what's the aesthetics of your face, what's your breast shape, like how big is your butt, how small is your waist, how tall are you, how broad are your shoulders. No, it was their culture is more about qualifying this man as being a utilitarian, being a functional part of a family. You understand what I'm saying? And so because of this, our families go further because they're not so superficial. We're very superficial people here. You understand? And we adopted that from our slave masters, y'all. We was not like that. You know what I mean? So if you ask any man, you take a woman who's a 5 and who has all the qualities of a mother, and you take a woman who's a 9 or a 10 who doesn't have those qualities, but the body and everything is crazy. Most men will take that beautiful woman, knowing she don't have those qualities, man, that he would want in his child, that he want for his child, that he want in his future child's mother. You see what I'm saying? So I think we talk about how this is true in large part. Now, men don't have a system to use, right, Cheryl? So I think this is a good topic to talk about. Need to have a lot deeper conversations. I agree. And Joey says, yeah, and that's a shame. Absolutely, grading each other based on your aesthetics and how good your sex is or how much resources you have. It's a shame. It's a shame to the child because, you know, what they get is a fat ass mama, mama with a fat ass, right? A mama that can ride a D, right? A daddy who got bread, or a daddy who can put it down. But they don't get a father who's actually invested in their life, who wanted a child, who wants a legacy. They don't get a mother who nurtures well, who can listen, who can heal. I mean, we don't get that. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say that in large part, we're all moving like our slave masters, which makes the people that we're dealing with more liking the slaves. It's crazy. And you do have to choose better. But the fact is, guys, it's not about choice when you're talking about the reality of it all. It doesn't matter if you choose right or wrong. The fact is, these things can be used against you, right? So you're making valid points. You're speaking truth. Thank you so much, Daphne. I think I said that, Daphne. Thank you so much. We're going to continue on with what they're saying. I'll come back again with my commentary. Hey, guys, go ahead and give us some likes. Now, we only got 36 likes. It's 97 in here. If you guys say, hey, he's speaking some knowledge here, some things we can take back with us here, please just hit that like button, man. I'll be back in a second. Let me hit play on this video.
Like, my dog, you chose the wrong chick.
And you know what, though? I ain't gonna lie, my boy.
From a reactionary standpoint, though, we know that things favor women because we built this society to protect women.
See, but at the same time, like the process of vetting a woman, especially in the beginning, it's almost impossible because when we first meet, I'm getting a representative of this woman. All right,
yeah.
Everybody like you should have chose a better chick. But like from what I thought I had, she was straight up. She was an A1 chick. But then one day she flipped shit, her neck turned all the way around.
Changed.
Yeah, changed. And you count for that change. You don't know when it's gonna come.
Yeah, he's right. People, you're gonna get people's representative, right? Meeting the parents might not even be good because they themselves can put on a representative type front where they're not showing you who they really are. So you don't really get how they raised their child, male or female. So you don't know what toxic traits they were raised with because the male or female that you're dating or vetting is going to tuck those deep into their back pocket so you can't see them, and they're going to give you some representative. You go meet their parents, they're going to put on a pretty face and a smile and pretend that they've been the Cosbys their whole life, right? How can you know who you're vetting if they can put on a representative like this, if they can wear a mask? How? So the problem becomes the system that's there. It ain't about choosing. If the system wasn't there, we wouldn't even have to worry about that. So what, you chose the wrong person? You still have your choices, right? So in this case, if you choose the wrong person, she could, use the system to leverage you and you don't have a choice in the matter. Yeah, because there's a system. You understand? Your choice is important. It's important you choose the right person. But guys, that's really based on a stroke of luck. How can you know who you're dealing with? This is why you got to look for red flags as early as you can, but it's really difficult to know who you're dealing with. You understand? That's like, say, a man. You get with a man who has physical strength, right? He uses that physical strength to care for you, open your doors for you, roll out the red carpet, so to speak. He's a strong man. He's a good man. He'll take care of me with his strength. He could be great for 10, 15, 20 years. If that man decides to hit you, you're hit. You didn't know this man would ever do this. So he can use that strength at any moment because he has access to it. However, if he wasn't stronger than you, you never have to worry about this. So what 2K is saying, okay, look, Just like the man has strength in that last scenario and can use it at his will at any moment, even though he's been a nice guy, the woman could do that at any moment too. She could be a perfect girlfriend, perfect relationship, perfect wife. As soon as things go south, she will weaponize that system against him. You really can't tell. How can you know? I can say there's ways for women to know, but I can't necessarily say there are ways. Okay, I'll point this out. How can you vet better? A woman vetting a man better, she literally have to ask this man for proof. Proof. He goes, what's your body count? He can't actually access that true information. She could tell this man 5 guys and it could be 50 guys. He doesn't know. So he has to go off of her demeanor. Typically, women who've been with a lot of guys have a horrible attitude. Okay. They don't value men as much. Just like men, when they've had a lot of women, they don't value women as much. You understand? Men who get a lot of women do not value women as much. They come a dime a dozen to those men. So men who don't get a lot of women seem to value women a whole lot more because it's not every day a woman all up in their face. So a woman who got men out the wazoo, who's been in all these different encounters with men, sleeping with her ain't gonna have her all wild out over you. She's done this before. She's been around the block a few times. You understand what I'm saying? So how can he tell? Well, if she giving it up real soon, if she don't really seem to be connected to you even after y'all do the do, if she's juggling multiple men even after the fact, regardless of what she says, you have to look at her behavior and go, yeah, whether that's evidence to support the idea that she's been with more men than what she's claiming or not, I have to use this and move off of how she's moving because that's dangerous, right? She keeps a lot of men around, things like that. How can you know a man? Okay, a man says, what's your body count? She could simply say, how much money do you have in the bank right now? How much do you make a year right now? What's your credit score? Because these are sensitive questions, right? If I give you the answer to what my body count is, you're going to judge me. I've now said something to you I can't never get back. So whether you continue seeing me or not, you're going to have some type of judgment for me. So let me ask something that you might feel uncomfortable giving me. How much money do you have in your bank account right now in this moment? How many of y'all know men would stutter at that? Because even if he got a decent amount of bread, if he got 15, 20,000 in the bank, he still don't know how she's going to see that. So he might say, why you want to know that? And as a means to, you just want my money. No, you asked me something that can point out the type of person that I am. I'm asking you something that can point out the type of person you are. Knowing how much money you have in your account, knowing what your career is and how much you make a year and your credit score speaks a lot about your discipline, your levels of consistency, your levels of maturity. And I'm looking for a good man who can be stable, who can take care of a family. These traits are very important. So asking you how much you make, how much you have in the bank, and what your credit score is are logical questions, sir. You want to know my body count. Why? Well, I don't want you being with a lot of men. I don't want you having a lot of trauma. I want you to be able to pair bond. I want you to value me. I don't want to have to compete with all these past guys. Now you're saying I'm average. Now you're saying I'm small because you're comparing me to guys that you've been with in the past. I don't want to deal with some woman I can't fucking satisfy because she done been laid up under a whole bunch of women. Now I don't want that, right? I want a woman with less experiences so she can value the experiences that she make with me more. Okay, so both of you got a logical reason why you want to know this information, right? So again, she can see the hard facts about him, how much he makes, how much he has in the bank, his credit score. These are all tangible things. Her bad experiences and bad relationships, whether she's been in an abusive relationship or not, whether she's been raped or not, whether she's had any type of childhood traumas that could bleed into how she sees the world, and her body count. You can't see any of this stuff. So you're pretty much just left to watching her movements. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, I would say for a woman to choose and base it off facts, it's easier than for a man to. Do you understand? But regardless, it's not about choice, because once you choose this person, they could have passed by with flying colors. They could have checked off all the boxes. It does not mean that this person will not take advantage of these systems. It does not mean this man will not use his strength against you one day. It just doesn't mean that. You understand? So if he uses his strength against you, though, you could call the police. You can get him hauled off to jail. He'll get punished. If you use your things against him, your words, lying on him, there really ain't much he can do. There really ain't much he can do. You call him a rapist, you call him an abuser. Really, he just has to compete with the system that is on his ass for the lies you told. And in most cases, people are not going to jail for lying and weaponizing the police. People are not going to jail for taking child support out on somebody who was really trying anyway. People are not going to jail for, putting themselves in between the relationships of a parent and the child, not letting them see the child. You got to go to civil court for these matters. They're not seen as criminal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's see here. Lavoria says, I was feeling demonized in the beginning of this conversation, and was my feelings because I experienced my experience was that I didn't deal with the court system, and I worked it out with my child's father, and we both chose to put the child first. I'm grateful I stuck around and listened to the whole matter. Hey, listen, the way my lives start off, it may seem like it's going another way, but in the end, you got to stay for the whole thing. You're absolutely right, Lavoria. I think that's respectable for two parents to keep it worked out between the two of them and deal with these tough issues as a team, as a family, and not bring the system into it, because both of you guys lose power when you do that. It's both of you saying we not adult enough to handle our own issues, so we got to go to the white man. And I hate to say it, the white man, but that's how many people look at it. That's how we look at it. You're going to the white man on me? That's how we would look at it. I've said this before. When Cat Williamson came out, Tasha K at the time was talking about Jamie Foxx. I made a video saying that it's become okay to publicly castrate and dehumanize men and strip them of everything they've ever earned. It's become okay to do this publicly, and it's likened that to how the slave master treated us as slaves. And yeah, it's true. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to get back to this and listen to where they go with it. We're going to close up. Hang on.
If it's going to come, and these are the
this excuse and your line of reasoning is the same excuse and line of reasoning that women make when they meet a man that, sold them a dream and said that, they were going to be in a relationship with her, but he's just clapping cheeks and got her in sex zone only. This is the same excuse that women say that, well, he was good and the vibes is all great, but then he turned into a narcissist, right? So these are all reactionary things, meaning that you go ahead and make a choice and then you feel the consequences of it. So now you have to react to it to try to figure things out instead of being proactive. So it limits the consequences that you will experience, and you don't have to be so reactionary to try to figure things out. So I would say to you, my dear brother, is the same thing I tell the women. You want to go ahead and look at the nature of women. What is the nature of women? What do we know about women? We know that women are hypergamous. So that means that they're hard to satisfy. Right. They look for quality over quantity, right? We know that the nature of women.
So now he's going over the nature of women, and this is what lets me know that he didn't completely grasp 2K's point. Hypergamy, all these different aspects of a woman's nature are not really related to what 2K is talking about. And while he's correct in his description of a woman's nature and all that, he's just very far from, I believe, the theory or the point that 2K was trying to point out. And I believe that he is absolutely right. In weaponizing the system, she is now taking the place of the white man in our eyes, because now we have child support. We can't see our child, and all this is done by her choice. And you're thinking in this world, who can do that? Who can tell you can't see your child? Who has the power to do that? And that's the one thing that, to me, driving up a road and seeing a car flipped over and people there, and you can see someone has passed on, seeing a funeral procession. These things remind me of my mortality. They remind me that I'm human and life is not promised, right? When I see things like a man can't see his child, a man has to pay this crazy amount of child support, I see that should remind him that he is not free. It should remind you that you are a slave. You are still a slave, even if it doesn't feel like it. If you can't see the chains or the sail, you are still yet a prisoner. And that's how we feel when this is done to us. We feel helpless. There's nobody we can go talk to. It's the very system that we would want to go to for help that is the one that's being utilized against us. It's a real thing, guys. But anyway, guys, listen, he talked about slavery, how men dominated black men's lives, stripping them of their ability to make decisions by breaking up their families, leaving them powerless. He compared this to how, in some cases today, black women use this system, such as child support, custody battles, and even deception, as about contraception or child rearing to exert control over the black man. He said women could make accusations, and regardless of the truth, a man's life could be destroyed overnight. The host of the show dismissed his concerns in most part, saying women don't have that type of leverage because men are physically stronger. But again, like I pointed out, it's not about physical strength. It's not about power. And the truth is, power doesn't have to be about who's stronger physically. It can be about emotional, financial, or legal power. Now, I don't want to make it seem like this is all about black women, as I stated before, what black women do to black men, because it's not. It's about us as a community. Both men and women in this reality. In many ways, we've both taken on the mentality of the enslavers. We've internalized the behaviors that mirrors the very oppression we've historically fought against, and that needs to be called out on both sides. So let's break this down. All right. That says you aren't free, and neither is your child. Now, absolutely. It's why you give them a birth certificate. It's true. You are giving up ownership as soon as you sign your nature over. You put your signature down that piece of paper, right? This is why they can come and take your children. Okay, and we don't understand this until it's happening, that we don't actually have any power. But here are ways that the enslaver mentality manifests in black relationships. Okay, parental alienation. We talked about this. Goodness gracious, what's going on with my computer? Parental alienation. We talked about this, family. Keeps her children away from the father out of spite or control. It mirrors the slave master, keeping families separated during slavery. Okay. Weaponizing child support. Okay, so that's one. We're gonna count them. That's one. Two is weaponizing child support, using child support as a tool for revenge or control instead of focusing on what's best for the child. Okay. 2. 3, false accusations of abuse, lying about abuse to damage a man's reputation, which can lead to him being hung in the court of public opinion, just like false accusations can lead to lynchings. You understand? Back in the day, you just say a black man did something, he could be hung at the picnic by Sunday, right? Just with an accusation. And today, the same thing. Okay, he's blackballed, he's castrated, he's no longer able to make money like he was, because so many people believe this negative thing about him. They'll typically stop buying from him or supporting them. Okay. 4, economic exploitations. Some women are engaging with men purely for financial gain, treating men like resources to be used, not partners to build with. And men always have to wonder, does she really love me, or is she just using me? If this wasn't a thing, guys, this wouldn't be something that men worried about. Okay, we wouldn't be talking about sugar daddies, because this is the example of a man who's not that attractive. He has money, he's old, outside of what you typically like, and you're only dating him because he buys you gifts. This is a fact. Okay. And some women only see men this way. Okay. So economic exploitation. Number 5, emotional manipulation, using children as pawns to control a man, making him feel powerless. You understand? That's self-explanatory. Number 6, public humiliation, falsely accusing a man of being gay or abusive in public spaces, stripping him of his dignity and manhood in front of others, much like castration during slavery. Okay. And men do this to men too. Get mad at the man, first thing you're doing is calling him gay. It's ridiculous, but it has more power when a woman you would date and says it. Let's be real. All right. Gaslighting, making a partner question their reality and sanity to maintain control over the relationship, which is psychological manipulation at its core. Number 8, I believe that's self-explanatory. Number 8, using government systems for control, leveraging the court system to gain full custody, or disproportionately punishing the father, even when the situation doesn't call for such extremes, right? We've seen this happen. Reproductive coercion, manipulating contraception to trap a man into fatherhood without mutual agreement, which is a form of control over his over his future resources, over his future and his resources. So that one I'll go a little bit more into reproductive coercion. That's what I call it. Okay, that's manipulating contraception, manipulating this man to believe that you either wearing a condom, that you're on some type of birth control, whatever the case may be. But you trick this man into fatherhood without his mutual agreement. That is a form of deceit and control. You got to understand this. And the reason that you're doing this is to control his future. You either want him to be with you or you want access to his wealth. And that's just not fair, guys. It's one of those things where, it's just not right. Again, if Roe v. Wade was turned over and you guys could not terminate pregnancies and men was just knocking y'all up because they wanted to be with y'all, they thought you was so fine they had to have a baby with you, so they went ahead and busted in there, even though he said he didn't. He said he was wearing a condom, but he pulled it off without you knowing. Now you're pregnant with this man's child who you did not want a child with, and you just was looking for some fun, for a night of fun. And now he's saying, you should have planned better. You should have wore a condom. You should have made sure. Nah, it's his fault. He lied to you. So when they say, when a man takes blame for it, like, yo, I feel trapped, but it's also my fault because I should have wore a condom. Man, stop taking the blame for that. If this woman told you that she was on the pill, then it's her fault for lying to you, bro. Stop that crap. Stop taking blame for stuff you didn't do. You have to say, me believing her deception made me a contributor in it. But that's just like a man taking a woman into a room and saying, hey, it's going to be me in there. It's dark in there. He leaves the room. He let his homeboy come in there. Okay, yeah, she's there for it because she thinks it's him. But come on, man. We know she didn't approve of that. Let's be real. You understand? So let's get into it. Sexual manipulation is another one. I think that's 10. Sexual manipulation, withholding or using sex as a tool for control or punishment in the relationship, reflecting a power dynamic that mirrors oppression. 100%. Shaming or guilty. Shaming a man for not being a real man because he doesn't meet certain financial or emotional expectations is controlling him through guilt. And this is, again, this also points to the man ain't shit if he ain't got money in his pocket. He's always looked at for how much money he has. Even in society, this man cannot be treated like a human simply because he don't have a lot of money. That's the equivalent to telling a woman, yo, because you're flat up and down and you don't have big breasts or a big butt, nobody has to respect you or honor you or open doors for you or treat you like a human being. Yo, that would be absolutely crazy. But this is the world that men live in, and the world is not fair. And I think that's the point that Fugazi was making in the red pill logic. There are no excuses. You just have to live with the world that you're born in. You have to learn to navigate it, and that's just the facts. Don't make excuses. Adjust, adapt, and that's why he goes back to, hey, you got to make good decisions. You got to make good choices, which is true. What he's saying is true, but he's failing to acknowledge what 2K is saying. Because what 2K is saying is true, we need to be careful who we choose, and we need to vet better, and we should raise ourselves up to becoming courageous and confident in ourselves. Everything that Fugazi was saying was correct. It just had nothing to do with what 2K was saying as a dispute to it. I think they both go hand in hand. But again, the conversation was just popped up by 2K. It wasn't Fugazi's original topic, which is why I believe this happened. But I'd like to hear Fugazi's topics after going back and listening to what 2K had to say, or have another bill with 2K. That'd be dope. Because I believe that he would more so understand where 2K is coming from, because I believe he thinks 2K is making excuses or trying to compare fairness. And that's not what he was saying at all. And from my opinion, that's not what he was saying at all. But let's continue. Stereotyping black men as deadbeat fathers is another one. I think that's 12. Feeding into the negative stereotypes, even when a man is doing his best, making him feel like he can never be enough. That's another way that we hold down black men, by never giving them credit for trying, y'all. And you can imagine what this would feel like as a mother. No matter how you dress your children, no matter how you treated them, no matter how much you were there for them, this man always got something to complain about. You up all night with the children. You're making their food. You're making their bottles. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And as soon as he comes in the door, he got something to say about the child, right? As if you're not being a good mother. That would definitely bleed into your consciousness, right? And everything he has to say has to come back to if you're a good mother or not. That definitely would affect that relationship, right? Make myself a little bigger, and that's done with the video. Let's continue. Public shame, campaigns on social media, airing private issues in public, using social media to lynch a person's character in front of the world, claiming you know this person more than people online do, and shaping their opinion about that person. This can hurt this person's future. And I don't think we're really understanding the power that this stuff has. Okay, so public shame is another way. Okay, denial of emotional support, withholding emotional support and care, leading to emotional starvation, is similar to how slaves were deprived of basic humanity. Double standards and accountability. Women being less accountable for their wrongdoings in relationships, leading to unfair power dynamics. The fact that people say, well, it's the man that's in charge, so it's mostly on him. When we use these types of reasonings, it's to say the woman isn't supposed to emotionally mature. Okay, that the burden of being fair, of being righteous, of contributing to the family's harmony is not equally on her. And somehow it's placed predominantly on the man because he's the leader. That is unfair, guys. A leader is not someone who carries most of the work. They are the person who delegates it. Okay, so to have a leader and blame the leader because the people who are following are not contributing is absolutely asinine. Okay, the leader is there for you to follow him. If you're not following him, you can't blame the leader. If you come to me for advice, if I give you advice and you don't follow it, what the hell is you blaming me for when it don't go right? That's ridiculous. You come and ask me for advice. I tell you what you should do in that advice. You don't take the advice. And when things fail, you come back to me. Yo, I can't make you take the advice. You didn't take the advice. Yo, don't blame me. Do you guys understand? Verbal or emotional abuse, using words and emotions to degrade and demean, leaving emotional scars. The word nigga, all these different words that were said to us were to break us down. Listen to hip hop today and tell me that men and women, black men and women, have not taken the place of the enslavers. Look at the names we call each other. Women call themselves bitches and hoes. Men call themselves niggas. Let's be real. And not only that, we call each other those things. And sometimes not with any ill intent. I can understand you mad at somebody, so you call her a B, but I can't understand how you just be like, yo, them some bad bitches. Like, and I mean, I've always hated that. I'm like, why you gotta call them bitches, bro? And like the homeboys in your circle will be like, nigga, you lame. Like, it's bitches, bro. Like, you like, but still you gotta call them bitches. Like, yeah, nigga, like it's wild. But it's like you can't say women, and I'm looked at like a cornball in those types of arenas. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the angry black woman narrative. Some women justifying controlling or harmful behavior through the stereotype of the angry black woman without considering its impact on their partner. Of course, we know that that's that irate stuff. I done been through this. You will not hurt me again. You will not do this to me. I done been through this before with Craig and them and Raheem and them, and you know how that goes. You have to pay for everything that everybody ever did to her, right? Which are mostly things that she subjected herself to. And here's another one, and this to me is the main one. I always say, love is working together. Well, what is hate? Not working together, right? So my last one is failure to build together. When we fail to come together as a community, we keep each other in survival mode. A master and slave dynamic thrives on division, not cooperation. And that's the one I want us to take home, okay? When you are failing to build together, this is why you're using these systems like child support. This is why you guys are running online talking about each other. This is why you guys are having these arguments around how you're going to raise your child, because you guys are failing to build together, putting both of your thoughts, your plans out there on the table together, and both of you guys taking on the burden of bringing these things into fruition. If you don't have that, you don't have love, family. What you have is hate. Hate is division. A house divided against itself shall not stand. You have to remember that. And we are a house divided against itself. Black culture, black people in general, are a house divided against itself. We don't even know what we are. Half of us claiming Indian, half of us claiming African, half of us claiming something else. And until we come together and just be like, yo, we're brothers and sisters in God's eyes, regardless, we'll never have it until we can look past all the things we've been through, and see human beings who want more for each other and more for their children, more for their legacy, will never have it until a man works with his wife wholeheartedly, until a wife works with her husband wholeheartedly, with no doubt. I mean, nothing but good faith, believing in the person that you chose and giving your all to meet the needs of that person. Until we do that, family, our children are not going to see the world that we want to see. Okay, they're not going to see this world where we have unity and family and everybody sticks together and we all have each other's back, because we are the problem. I always say, be the change you want to see. Every day we go out here, we be a part of what's breaking down society. And not every one of us individually, but in large part, we all are assuming these roles of our destroyers or our captors. And because of this, there is no cooperation. There's only division. And you got to understand this. And they full well knew this as well. If they learn our ways, they'll keep themselves down. Before we get off, I'm going to tell you guys about this. It was a project. It was an experiment. This scientist, he took these mice and he put them inside of a cage, right? And basically, he put a ladder in the cage and some cheese at the top of the ladder, right, hanging above the ladder. And so when the rats would begin to climb the ladder to get the cheese, he would spray them with really hard, high pressure water. So to them, it's like a fire hydrant, right? So basically, they stopped climbing the ladder to get to the cheese. And so what he did is he put another mouse in there, and he did not spray the water this time. He wasn't going to spray the water. Well, the mouse tries to climb the ladder to get to the cheese, and the other mice beat him down. I mean, put him through it, beat him down. Why? The mouse has to be thinking why, and whatever mouse language they're using, they're telling him, because if you climb that, we're all going to be wet. We're all going to be sprayed with this high pressured water, right? Now, this new rat has never seen this water. He's never experienced it, right? But give him some time. They put another rat inside this cage, and now he's helping to beat the next rat up who's trying to get to the top. Why? He's never even seen it. Now, as this scientist continues this whole experiment out, bit by bit, every mouse has been exchanged out. So every time he put one in, he take one out. Now, none of the mice in here has experienced the water jets. None of them have. No mouse in there has experienced it. And yet still, they're beating down the mice that try to climb the ladder. Now, none of them have seen it. They've only been told about it. In this way, family, we model our enslaver predecessors, and we are now creating their way of life without them even telling us to. This is what we're doing, family. We fear each other. We hate each other. We think that we're better than each other based on how we look, based on how much we have in our pocket, how much money we've earned, the clothes that we can afford, which is crazy. And it shows you that we are very small-minded people, still likened to that of slaves, very small-minded. So it's not just in relationships, it's in general, man. You know what I'm saying? So there is no love that exists in the Black community when it comes to working together, regardless of how you feel about each other. In most cases, man, if you just have a disagreement with a person, they're going to automatically make you the worst person in the world. They can't even deal with the fact that you just have a different frame of thought than them. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's bad out here. And people will go to lie on you just for not agreeing with them. We've seen this. If they lie us, they will use that system, I'm telling you. If they are liars, they're going to use a system that allows them to lie. It's just the truth, man. So you do have to be careful who you choose, but this very fact that these systems can be used in this way, it makes 2K right in what he was saying. So 2K, if you see this video, man, I agree with you. I think that what you did was you're really opening up a conversation that needs to be had. I've been stating many things like this for the last few months, and it's just great to hear another mind that has came to this conclusion. You know what I mean? So hopefully if you watch my video, you will see that I helped you land your plane. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yes, women have become like the new white man when it comes to leveraging these systems, and men have become like the new white man when it comes to how we treat Black women as a whole, how we see them, how we value them, how we respect them, how we value them for family. the initiative and the intent that we take when it comes to pursuing them. It's often just a number under our belt. It is not with any value intended to get to know this human being. It's just she got a fat ass. I like how she walk. Whatever the case may be, we have reduced each other all the way down to just sexual objects or objects of resource. And as long as we're doing that, we all looking at ourselves through the eyes of an enslaver. Okay, so let's take off the blinders and begin to see each other again. Let's begin to value each other for our character again, for our loving nature again, our building nature again. Not just how tall is he, how much money he have, or how fat her booty is, or how good her sex is. This woman has value, man. And if you search for it, you'll find it. And if you find it, you will know how to utilize this woman in your family to move forward. If you see this man's value, ladies, if you just look for his value, you will find it. And you will see how this man can best be accessed to get you guys into the future. But if you don't know this, you'll forever be trying to use different mechanisms to get this man to move in a certain way. Shame, insults, guilt, a need to be right, using forceful tactics such as lying on him, using the police. All as a means to just control this man. Fear tactics, threatening his children. Him using fear tactics, threatening to not take care of the children if you leave. I had some clients that was like that before. The man was saying, if you leave me, I ain't taking care of them kids at all. And I had to show him, you weaponizing the children. He said, well, she gonna take them out of my house. I don't get to see them every day. Then I ain't doing nothing for him. I said, as much as you don't like the idea of her taking them out of your house, you threatening to not take care of your children anymore is weaponizing your children. He says, how? I said, it's not your children's decision to leave the house. So if your mother decides to move, if their mother decides to move out and take them with her, you're going to take you the rest of the way from your child. It's bad enough they don't get to live with you anymore based on them. You're saying it's bad enough you don't get to live with your own kids, but it's bad enough they don't get to live with their own father. And what their father's going to do is say, well, I'm not being there at all. Come on, man. They at least need you now every other weekend. They at least need to see you when they can now. So you're in your emotions. You don't want this thing to happen. So you're trying to threaten this lady to keep her from doing it. But the thing that you're doing in doing that is weaponizing your child. You understand? And so a lot of people don't get this, man. Co-parenting is very complex. It's very difficult. Relationships are very difficult, even without children in them. And so what 2K is talking about is very, very real, man. Because of the leverage, because of the system that is designed, that's in place, there's a lot of loopholes that can be leveraged against men via women. And that's scary for us. And when it's happening to us, we do feel helpless and powerless. We do feel that way, just like you would if you were in slavery. So yes, it's true, but it's true on both sides. And I think if you back up and zoom out, you can see that men in many ways have become like the white man when it comes to how they treat women too. And that's why we got to get back to loving each other, man. We are so desensitized to each other. That being said, family, I hope you guys get something from this video. We'll do more like this. I like the turnout. Appreciate you. There's quite a few of you guys in here today, and I really appreciate that. Always respect. Shout out to 2K. Shout out to Fugazi for bringing us this amazing topic that we could expound upon. All right. Hopefully they do another review on this, and if they do, I'm definitely going to review it on this channel too, so you guys can get to see the finishing. Because sometimes it starts off like that, a little bit murky, a little bit. Didn't seem like he understood what 2K was saying or whatever. But you know, if he has him back on, I believe that he's going to understand where this man's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Or at least he'll have better points to reject what 2K is saying. And hey, and I'll be there for that too. Maybe he can enlighten me. You understand? But like Jaffe said, typically he's pretty sharp. But this wasn't the Fugazi I know, and it could be because he was ill prepared for the topic that 2K was bringing forth. But that being said, thank you to all of you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking to it, commenting, liking, hitting the like button. Thank you, Upper Echelon. Thank you, Chatty Cathy. Thank you, Pay Me to Beef, Truth Teacher. Let's see here. Thank D, Miss D. I forgot all you guys now. They say stop doing names because you'll be done daggum messed up. I can't remember somebody's name. I think that's what's gonna happen. But thank you to all of you content creators, man, the actual content creators who took some time to the Queen's Quarters, which is Jamie. Thank you to Lacey for being involved into the live and all that stuff too. All you content creators, I definitely want to appreciate you guys because you guys could be off creating your content, but instead you're helping me to produce mine and help make mine watchable and all this stuff with your comments and your interactions and contributions. So thank you guys again. Listen, man, in the future, man, I really would love for you guys to hop up here on here with me, man, and I can dialogue with y'all. Y'all scared of me. Seems like every time I get up here, people be kind of getting nervous to come up here and talk with me, man. That's crazy. I ain't gonna do nothing to y'all. I just want to have a bill with y'all, explore your minds. So the next time, man, I hope you guys can be more willing to come up here and rap with me and stuff like that, and build on these topics together, because it's a little bit more difficult when it's just me sitting here talking, because I only have my mind to bounce off of. If I can hear what you guys have to say too, it can help create more thoughts for me as well. And that's just the beauty of a conversation. So the next time, guys, please be more obliged to come up and share your thoughts as well. All right. With that being said, man, thank all of you guys for your attendance. Thank you guys for your comments and your contributions to this live. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. You know, I really would like to see you guys. Yeah, Eric Weston said too nervous. I get it. But man, listen, y'all, we can have a great build. That's what I'm here for. All right. But much love to you guys. Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it's in that chaos that you find yourself. And listen, everybody that's on here, if you really support, when this video shows up on your feed, you can see the actual live. You know, the comments won't be there anymore. Go back and put good review, good live. Put something about this that I can know that you appreciated this type of content, so I can bring it back to you more, okay? And thank you guys so much again. Peace to you.